Okay, a quick lesson in how to change the back tyre on a Vespa P Range. I'm going to be using my T5 as an example, although the PX should be very similar. Okay, tools required. I'm going to use an engine stand. Mine's my village scooters, but they're all pretty much the same. 13mm socket, extension piece and a ratchet. A pencil just for deflating a tyre. Anything similar will do that will just push the valve down. Rubber gloves, always necessary because every wheel is dirty, no matter how good you've cleaned it. And a foot pump, just for inflating at the end of it all. And if you're going to be doing this on the floor, which I guess you will, or a lot of people will be, I just use an old cardboard box that I've just folded up flat, and just takes the cold off you and keeps the gravel out your backside. First things first, let's get gloves on and then take the side panels off, as they're easily scratched. Things have a tendency to get banged against them and they fall over. So lift the seat up, and then what you'll have, two catches just by the seat hinge. Pull those all the way back, do on both of them, and then it's a matter of panel lifting and then lift off the spring. Simple as that. So take both panels off, put them somewhere where they're not going to get kicked, knocked over or dropped, and then two levers, push them back in, put the seat down. Next we want to take get our tools together, put the extension on, socket on, and then we want to take the spare wheel off. Okay, on a lot of bikes they've got a battery there that's in the middle of the spare wheel, and unfortunately the nuts you need are very close to that battery terminal. If you touch your socket on there, you'll get a nasty shock. So just be very careful that that extension doesn't touch that terminal there. Before you take the wheel off, you'll have the battery in the middle. Some of the newer Vespas will have like a half moon shaped piece of plastic that goes across here, with one long screw that goes into the middle here. Again, it's just the same 13mm socket. Take it off. When you're putting it back in, just be careful that you've got the spacer in the middle, otherwise what it'll do, it'll squash the plastic and crack it. That's why most bikes don't have them, because most people have cracked them within about a year of owning them. Okay, I'm cheating. I've got my bike on an engine stand so I don't have to grovel around on the floor. And I don't have a battery in the middle of mine, on the T5. So it's just a matter of loosening these screws off, these nuts off, and then removing your spare wheel. Careful not to lose your washers. Push to one side, that comes off. These are particularly straight. Some of the screws on these are a bit bent, and it's a bit of a pull to take them off. But that is it. Next stage is to loosen the wheel nuts. I'll suggest doing half a turn on each, just to loosen it off, so you're not doing it on the engine stand. And that one. Right, so that's it loosened. Okay, I'm going to cheat on mine just because I can. I'm just going to take this back bumper off. Normally there's metal clips on the back of these that make them quite difficult to get off, so it just makes it easier on mine just to lift, because I've got no back carrier or rail that I can use. Okay, now to put the engine stand in, that basically goes under there. I've got a nut there on this T5 because it's got an extra casing that the other engines don't have. which will get in my way a little bit, but that shouldn't be a problem normally on a PX. So, assuming... Nope, I can't do that from there. Lift that, prop that fairly tightly under there, and that's it. Now the wheel should be free to turn, but it's important to get that as close to the engine as possible, because otherwise this can break off. So get that as jammed in against the engine as you can. Okay, now to get the wheel off, the wheel should be free to turn. So what I would do at this stage is, when you can, just basically, so I'm just taking my valve cap off. Seems to have the world's longest thread, and then just push it into the valve and let all the air out. Some bites it's not necessary, some bites it is. If you've got a flat tyre, it might already be, you might not even have to take any air out. So just leave that until you've got most of it out. You'll feel the tyre goes soft. Yeah, see, I can squeeze that now, so that'll do me. Now most of these should be loose already. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Notice the washers are on there, don't lose those. And just note which way your washers are. You'll have a wavy washer and a spring washer. I've only got the springs on here. And that just comes off. Now mine's come off a little bit easier because I haven't got the bumper on the back. But if you just rotate the hub so that you haven't got these little ears that are sticking up, catching, and then the tyre will just come off. And then the refitting is the reverse. So it's just a matter of, I'll put the same tyre back on, just trying to wedge that in there. You'll see it's not that easy, particularly if I've got a lip on my workbench here. And then it's just a matter of lining that hub up with the holes. And just make sure you know which way the tyre goes on. I say that because if you look at a Vespa wheel, one side has only got a very thin ledge, the other side has got a really deep ledge. Yeah, so the deep side goes in against the hub. It's the shallow side that sits outwards. So I won't bore you while I put those nuts back on. I'll just stop it there for a second. Okay, I've just put all these wheel nuts back on, finger tight, noting which way the washers go. Okay, so again, just put them all on, finger tight, and then you'll be able to get a bit more leverage using this tool. Again, I'm not putting the ratcheting handle on just yet. And I'll do that once I've taken the engine stand off. Okay. Right, so they're all on loose. My tyre's still flat. Your replacement tyre should also be flat if you when you put a replacement on. And the only reason is because you have to jam in between these ledges here. So it's just useful to have a bit of give on the tyre because it is quite a tight squeeze. So the way I take this off is just by pushing the bike over on its stand. And then dropping it again. Right, it's harder to take it off when it's flat, you've got to push it over further and it feels like it's going to fall off, but it should be okay. So that's the stand off. So I've now got a flat tyre, but back on. And now is when you want to start tightening those a bit more with your socket set. Make sure it turns to go the right way. So it's really just doing the final tightening now. And then you just need to inflate that tyre, foot pump or whatever. Okay, I'm just going to torque these up. Obviously push the button to release the bar. I'm just going to use a torque wrench. Not everyone's got one of these, but I do. So it's a very light torque. It's 16 foot-pounds. About 20 newton meters is what I tend to work in. Okay, so that's that. I inflated the tyre to 28 psi, that's what I tend to use. If you've got a passenger, you might want to move it up to 32 psi. Put the tyre valve back on. I should really do the spit test on the valve, but I'm not going to bother at the moment. And put your spare wheel back on. This goes with not the shallow side, but the deep side facing outwards. The valve goes just in this gap here. And then just replace that. Let's do it quickly. Again, they can be a bit of a faff sometimes if the screws aren't exactly lined up, which they frequently aren't on Vespas. So just tighten this. Doesn't have to be super tight, it's not going to go very far. Right, that's that. I'm just going to put my little bumper back on. Right, and then put the side panels back on. So again, lift the seat, the little lever up here, put it as far round as you can, and then what happens, this little prong here sticks out. So start with the back, push that back bit in first, and lift that side panel up. What you've got inside here is a little spring, so just get the light right. That little spring there, which doesn't always spring back, as mine doesn't. I can push it in and it'll stay in. It should sit flat like that. Okay, and that goes against this clip up here, so I'll just show you. So that spring goes into, so I'm just trying to find the camera, goes into this clip here, so it goes behind that clip. So that's why you need to come up and then it will sit behind there. So I'll just try and show you. So again, that goes in, comes up. Push that down. Now what's easier on mine is I haven't got any this little prong on the back. Mine hasn't got the rubber bit that's on there. There should be a nice little black rubber bit that helps it sit tight in this hole at the back over here. so you might need a bit more effort just to push that in. Push that flush against the bike as tight as you can, and you should feel some force, and then you've got to pull it over. I'll show you from this side. You've got to come over and then over that clip into the hole, and then you pull the lever around at the top, locks it back into place, and that's it, you're done. Obviously you normally put the other panel on, but I'm not going to bore you with how to put 2 panels on. What you will have, which I've forgotten to mention, is obviously the half moon that goes on the wheel here. On the newer Vespas, mine doesn't have it, it sits over here, so just make sure you put that back in. That just goes into this hole at the bottom down there, and that's it, you're done.